Hello everyone and welcome to the mat. Today we are going to be doing a full body flow with though a specific intention towards the hips. The hips are the center of your body, but they're also the center of every movement that you make, whether it's in yoga, in another sport practice, or during your daily life. And what I do want you to become aware of or get a better understanding of today is the difference between the closed position of the hips and the open position of the hips. So the closed position of the hips like this and the open position of the hips. This is going to improve your awareness, body awareness, and your flowing, whether you're just started with yoga, whether you've been practicing for years, or whether you're just starting to go towards more advanced shapes. We are going to be moving with intention. We're going to try to challenge the edges, and we're always going to try to come back to the hips to look at where they are at, where do they want to go, and where are we holding onto something. So we are going to begin in a little bit unusual position, namely in the standing position. So I want you to come to the beginning of the mat. And we're going to start with the mountain pose, Tadasana. So our feet are hip width apart. You're tucking in the pelvis, activating the core, having a slight bend in the knees, opening the chest and relaxing your arms next to your body. On the next inhale, you're going to raise the arms over your head, slightly look up, make yourself as long as you can, and then exhale, lower, slowly and controlled. A second time, inhale, raise your arms. If you want, you can close your eyes. Try to begin bringing your attention to your body, to your practice and your mat. And the last time, inhale, raise your arms. Make yourself as long as you can, the circles as big as you can, and exhale, lower. Then on our inhale, we're going to interlace the fingers in front of your chest. And then exhale, going to slightly bend the knees, extend the arms to the ground, round the back. And then trying to push our hands as far forward as you can. And then when I inhale, going to raise the arms over your head. Again, reaching as far forward and as high up as you can. And then exhale, release the arms. Second time, inhale, interlace the fingers, exhale, round the back, bend the knees, arms to the ground. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up, make yourself as long as you can, and then exhale, release the arms, slowly and controlled. And then one last time, again, you can close your eyes. Take your time for yourself. Exhale, round the back, arms towards the ground. Inhale, raise the arms forward and up. And then exhale, release. And then I'm going to inhale, raise your arms over your head. And with your right hand, you're going to grab your left wrist. And then you're going to slightly bend towards the right and try to lift the left side of your chest towards the sky. Maybe you look towards the sky, make yourself as long as you can to really lengthen the left side of your body. So you're not trying to push towards the right, trying to lengthen the left side of your body. And then exhale, both arms to the side. Do the other side. Inhale, raise your arms over your head. Exhale, grab your wrist with the left hand. Inhale, lengthen the whole right side of your body. Look towards the sky. Stay here for a couple of breaths, really feeling the whole body expand after all the sitting you've been doing. And then exhale, come back to center and release your arms. Now we're going to interlace the fingers behind the back, and you're going to slightly open the feet a bit more than hip wide apart, and you're going to turn them so both of your feet are pointing outwards. Then you're going to inhale, open the chest, and you can extend your arms behind you like this. If this is too difficult and you can't extend your arms, you can also grab the wrist of your hand, or you can also use a band and grab the band. And then on our exhale, we're going to fold forward, and here make sure you're bending your knees, so you're not stretching your legs, you're just stretching your back. And then exhale, release your hands to the ground, and then inhale, we roll back up. Second time, interlace your fingers. Inhale, open the chest, look up. Exhale, fold forward, bending the knees. Inhale in your forward fold, and then exhale, hands to the ground. And on your next inhale, slowly, vertebra by vertebra, we're rolling back up. One last time. Interlace the fingers. Inhale, open the chest. Exhale, fold forward, bending the knees. Inhale in this position, and then exhale, release your hands to the ground. And we're staying in this position, grabbing your elbows with your hands. And I want you to really release your head and your neck, release any tension in your shoulders, and let your upper back and the whole back be heavy and full towards the mat. Keep the slight bend in your knees so that you're not stretching the legs too much, and you can allow the back to really relax. And then we're going to sway side to side with the upper body, staying in the same position, only the upper body is moving. Very nice. Then you can release the hands, place them on the mat, and then slowly, vertebra by vertebra, we're coming in our standing position. Very nice. Okay, now if you've moved positions, you can come back to the upper part of your mat. And we're coming in our Tadasana mountain pose. Inhale, raise your arms over your head. Exhale, fold forward from the hips. You can keep a bend in your legs, so still warming up. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on the mat or on the shins. Make sure you're relaxing your shoulders, keeping them away from the ears. And then exhale, hands to the ground. And we're stepping back into our first downward facing dog. Here again, bending our knees as much as we need. What we want to do is to spread our fingers wide, push into the fingers, and push our hands into the mat, our shoulders away from the ears, lengthening the back. So I don't want your legs to be extended and your back to be round, but always in downward facing dog, focusing on the flat back. And then here, if you want, you can pedal with your feet. Try to find your first downward facing dog. If you have any rituals you like to do when downward facing dog, you can do them now, whether it's a couple of waves, some twists. Just have to feel and notice, play around how your dog is feeling today. Very nice. And then you're going to drop the knees to the mat. On your inhale, you're going to arch the back, look up. And exhale, round the back, push into the hands. Inhale, arch, look up. Exhale, round the back, push into the hands. Tuck your belly in. Inhale, arch. And exhale, tuck. Come back to neutral. We're tucking our toes activating our core, and then we're going to lift the knees off the mat. The knees are hovering off the mat. We're challenging our core, and then on our inhale, we're lifting the hips into a down-facing dog, and exhale back down. The knees are still over the mat, we're not touching the mat. Inhale, lifting the hips to the sky, downward facing dog, and exhale, lower, keeping the knees hovering. One last time. Inhale, downward facing dog, and inhale, knees can come all the way down into our tabletop position. On our next inhale, I'm going to arch the back, and then exhale, bring the chest and chin to the ground in our Ashtanga Namaskar. Inhale, shift the weight forward into a baby cobra, and then exhale, lower your chest and your head to the ground. You're going to extend the right arm to the side, and then you're going to roll towards the left and place your left foot behind you. So you're looking towards the left, the right arm is extended. We're opening the chest and the shoulder. And then on the exhale, roll back onto the belly. And then we switch sides, extend the left arm, and then roll towards your right. Place your right foot behind you. And then we come back to center. Second time, extend the left arm. If you want, you can also put it 90 degrees to make the stretch even more intense. Or you can leave it extended, or just warming up, creating some space, and the other side in our bodies. Very nice, and roll back. Now placing both hands in a tent position on the upper corners of the mat. On your next inhale, you're going to round the back, and you're going to lift your chest off the mat, pushing, extending your arms. At the top, you're going to open the chest, look up, and then exhale, lower. Gonna do this a second time. So you're going to round the back, inhale, push yourself up. At the top, you open your chest, look up, and exhale down. Really try to make the movement with your back as big as you can. Inhale, lift, and really feel it in your back. And lower. Very nice. Then we're placing the hands next to our chest, and we're pushing back into our tabletop and towards our downward facing dog. Second time we're in down facing dog. You can take another moment here. Maybe notice the difference now that we have warmed up a little bit. And then now we're going to come in a neutral downward facing dog. And on your inhale, you're going to lift the heels up as high as you can, keeping the flat back. And then exhale, drop the heels. Inhale, lift. Exhale, drop. Inhale, lift. Exhale, drop. And then one last time, inhale, lift. And keeping the lift in the heels, you're going to walk your hands to your feet. And then you're going to lower the heels in our forward fold. And then slowly, vertebra by vertebra, we're rolling up into our standing position. Inhale, raise your arms, mountain pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. exhale, walk your hands into downward facing dog. Inhale, shift the weight forward into plank. And then you can do your version on the knees or in chaturanga to downward facing dog. Now, in downward facing dog, I'm going to inhale, raise the right leg to the sky. And here I want you to focus on your hips. So we're not opening the hips to the side, we're keeping both hip bones facing towards the mat. That usually means that your leg doesn't go as high. That's fine. I want you to keep the hips closed first. And we're going to bend the right leg, keeping the hips closed. And now we're going to open the hips to the right side. And feel the difference. Which muscles are being stretched? How does it feel? And then we're closing again. And then a second time we're opening to the side. And then we're closing. And then we're going to draw some circles with the right knee. So you notice one position is usually more uncomfortable than the other one. And it's also the one we usually tend to go to per default if we're not thinking about our hips. It's important to be aware so we can also strengthen both positions of the hips. And then on the next exhale, you're going to bring the left knee to the chest, shifting your shoulders over your wrists, pushing into the fingers, and then inhale, extend the right leg over your head in downward facing dog. Inhale, knee to chest. And exhale, three-legged dog. And then you're going to lower the right foot next to the left foot. And we're dropping our knees, taking a moment for our wrists. We can circle the wrists. Maybe you have an exercise you like to give your wrists a break. If it's extending your arms, doing this. And then we're going back right to it. So hands in front of you, shoulder width apart, and we're coming into a downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg to the sky, keeping the hips closed, so both hip bones are facing towards the mat. And then you're bending the left leg, keeping the hip bones towards the mat. And now we're opening the hips to the left. And exhale, close the hips. Inhale, open the hips. And exhale, close. And then one last time. Inhale, open the hips. And exhale, close. Let's just staying here another 10 seconds to draw some circles with our left knee. And then to bring our knee to our chest, and we're shifting our shoulders over the wrists, pushing through the palms into fingers. Inhale, extend the left leg, three-legged downward facing dog. Inhale, knee to chest. Exhale, three-legged dog. And then we're dropping the left foot next to the right foot. And bring the knees to the mat, coming into a child pose. Here we're going to draw some waves with our bodies. So when I inhale, I'm going to round the back, lift the hips, shift the weight forward onto the hands, so in a cat position. And then exhale, you arch the back, look up and back down. Second time. Inhale, round the back, shift the weight forward. Exhale, arch. And send the hips back onto the feet. One last time, really do the movement as big as you can. Really reach with your back to the sky and down. Very nice. Now we're coming in a normal seated positions on our knee. What I want you to do here is we're going to do a kind of mini flow. So here we're going to place the left hand behind us, so at the same level as our legs, and we're going to extend the right leg to the side, so we're coming in a gate pose with a slight back bend. This is going to be our inhale. First you can look and then you can do. And then exhale, we're going to bring our hips onto the leg. Then you're going to inhale, raise the arms over your head, and then exhale, bend to the right. Inhale back to center, exhale, lower the hand, and then you do this again. So you're going to do this 3 times, and then the 3rd time I'm going to add some variations. So place the hand next to you, or stand like this, hand next to you, and then inhale, you're going to shift your weight onto this hand, extend the right leg, and then open your chest. Try to make yourself as big as you can. Squeeze the glutes to protect the lower back, and push through the the left hand, and then exhale, bring your hips to the mat. Inhale, raise your arms over your head, and then exhale to the side. When you inhale, open the chest, look towards the sky. Exhale, deepen the stretch. Inhale back to center, and exhale, hand to the side. 2nd time. Inhale, raise your hips, open your chest, find your gate pose, feel the nice stretch, and exhale down. Inhale, raise your arms over your head, and exhale to the side. Inhale, open the chest, look towards the sky, and exhale, deepen the side bend. Inhale, back up, and exhale, hand to the side. Before we do our last one, I'd like you to take into notice that our hips are open while we're doing this. Even when we're bending to the side, our hips are looking to the front. Because if we're doing our side bend, but our hips are looking to the foot, we're doing a forward bend, right? We're not doing a side bend. So here, I really want you to keep your hips open, looking to the front. If this is really uncomfortable, you can also either place a block under your hips or bend this knee. It doesn't have to be straight at all, as long as you feel the stretch. So one last time. Inhale, raise the right arm, open the hips, and exhale, hips to the ground. Inhale, raise your arms, keeping the hips open. Exhale, bend to the right. Inhale, open the chest, look towards the sky, and exhale, deepen the stretch. Inhale back to center, and exhale. This time, we're going to place the hand, not behind us, but to the side, so on the same level as of our front knee. So you're going to inhale, come into your gate pose. This time we don't have a back bend because everything is on one straight line. And this time I want you to first really lengthen the whole side, so you're really reaching as far to your left as you can with your right hand, and you're pushing into the outer side of your right foot. And then I'm going to want you to lift the right leg up, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the core, and then if you want to add the challenge, you can grab with your right hand, you can grab the right ankle, and then push your ankle into the hand, open the chest, and find like a dancer variation. This one is really nice to open the shoulder, open the hips, the front of the right leg. And then if you're holding, you can let go, extending the leg and the arms. And then you can lower the right foot and lower the hips. And this time we're turning our hips to the right, to our left foot. So we're looking to our right foot, sorry. Inhale, raise your arms over your head, and then exhale, float forward. So here I want you to really try to bring the lower belly towards the leg and trying to lengthening to the front. You're not lengthening down to the mat. So your goal is not to come all the way down, it's to come as far forward as you can. Again, you can also bend this leg, it doesn't have to be straight. Here, I love this exercise because especially when my lower back is tense, it really opens the whole lower back area. And if you want to even deepen the stretch in the lower back and in the back, you can bring your left hand on the right side of your front leg and bring your right hand behind. And so you're opening the whole body, so going in a kind of a twist towards your right. I love that one. It doesn't look as fancy as the other ones, but it feels amazing. Very nice. And then you can release. And we're coming back to the middle. We're going to repeat this on the other side. This time, I want you to do the flow in your own rhythm with your own breath. The only thing I want you to really focus on is to have a deep and slow breath, and to let your movements follow the breath. Okay? So I'm going to guide you through the first one again to refresh memory, and then you can do the rest in your own pace, so doing 3 again. So with our right hand, placing it on the same height of the feet. And inhale, we're lifting the hips, opening the chest. Push through the right hand. And exhale, lower the hips to the mat. Inhale, raise the arms over your head. And exhale, bend to the left. Inhale, open the chest, look up to the sky. And then exhale, deepen your bend. Inhale, back to center. And exhale, hand to the mat. Now you can do in your own breath. Once you're finished with your 3 times, we're going to do a variation, placing our right hand on the same height as the front knee, lifting our hips, and then we're lengthening the whole side, so reaching as far towards the right as you can with the left hand, and we're pushing into the outer edge of the left foot. And then our next inhale, going to lift the left leg up, keeping this length, reaching as far as you can. And then if you want, you can grab the ankle and again find your variation, opening the chest, pushing your ankle into the hand. Take a deep breath, don't forget to breathe. And then next time you exhale that you're holding, you can extend the leg. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, lower the leg and the hips. And then now we're turning our hips to the right foot. Left foot, sorry. Inhale, raise your arms over your head. And then exhale, fall forward to the foot. Again, try to pull the chest to the front, bring the lower belly down. So not collapsing, we're trying to expand. And you can keep this leg as bent as you need. It doesn't have to look nice. It just has to feel good. And again here, if you want to deepen the stretch in your back, you can take your right hand on the left side of the front foot, left hand to the to the left side, and then we're opening our chest to the left. Just do that if it feels good, if it adds anything to the stretch. If it doesn't, you can just stay with the variation before. I'm just giving you some options to see how your body feels. Very nice. When you're finished, you can come back up. And then now we're going to start with our real sun salutation variation. So you're going to become a little bit more dynamic. So you're going to come in our tabletop position, tucking the toes and coming into our downward facing dog. Look between the hands, bend the knees, and step into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, raise your arms, mountain pose, and exhale, lower. Then coming in our chair pose. Inhale, arms next to your ears, send the hips back in our chair pose. Exhale, fold forward, bring the arms to the back. And then inhale, back to chair pose. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to chair pose. And exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump into plank and flow your version of the Vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg to the sky, keeping your hips squared. And then exhale, step the foot between your hands. Inhale, raise your arms, come in a high lunge. And exhale, deepen the high lunge. Here, our hips are still squared, facing to the front. Going to inhale, open the chest. Bring your arms in cactus. Lower them. And then exhale, we're sweeping the mat with our hands, shifting our weight forward and all the way back up. Second time. Inhale, open the chest. Cactus the arms. Exhale, sweep the mat with your fingertips. One last time. Inhale, open. And exhale, sweep. And back. On your next exhale, you're going to bring your hands to the mat and we're going to come in our standing split. Here again, you're not opening the hips, You're keeping them closed, even if that means the leg is not going high. We're going to open the hips later, so you're not missing on anything. I just wanted to really learn what it feels like when the hips are closed. Okay? And then now I want you to open the hips to the side to feel what it's like. It's the same movement that we do when we're doing our half moon, but here we're just keeping our hands to the ground. We're just opening the hips, and then we're closing them. And then we're stepping the foot back down. Hands are still on the mat. And then step the front foot back and flow your vinyasa to downward facing dog. And we move on to the other side. So you're going to inhale, lift the left leg to the sky. Exhale, step between your hands. Inhale, raise your arms. And exhale, find your high lunge. Inhale, cactus the arms, open the chest. Really pull your chest to the sky. You're not bending back, you're opening towards the sky. And then exhale, swoop the fingers and back up. Second time. Inhale, open the chest, cactus the arms. Exhale, swoop the fingers back up. One last time. Inhale, open. And exhale, swoop. And up. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, hands to the mat. And we're coming in our standing split. Here again, keeping the hips closed, feeling what it's like. I'm personally always more frustrated in this position because I can lift my leg way less than if it's open. That's why it's so good to train this position too. And now we're going to open our hips to the side. And then close them. On your next exhale, drop the back foot to the mat. Step the front foot back into plank and flow your vinyasa to downward facing dog. Beautiful. Look between your hands, bend your knees, and step, jump or float into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, chair pose. And exhale, mountain pose. Okay. If you need at any time to take a break, drink something, please do so. That's a good thing about a video too. You can just pause, do whatever you need. I'm just going to continue, except if I need a break too. So I'm going to inhale, come into your chair pose. Exhale, extend the legs, arms to the back. And then inhale back into chair pose. Exhale, extend, hands to the back. One last time, inhale into chair pose. And here I really want you to think about lowering your shoulders and really opening the arms, pulling them as high as you can. It's really uncomfortable, but it's really good for the whole upper body. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or jump into plank. And flow your vinyasa to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the right leg to the sky. This time open the hip, bend the right leg, and here push into your hands to really lengthen the back. As a side note, I haven't focused on it today, but also what we just did with the hips, you can also do with the shoulders. So here, you can keep your shoulders squared or open, and at the same time you can keep your hips squared or open. Here is it squared or open. So it's really interesting. And when you come into doing handstands, then it's also really good to be able to keep your hips and your shoulders squared, for example. So it's really good to know how it feels. And then here, I'm going to bring the knee to the chest, step between your hands, and then we're opening straight into Warrior Two. So we're opening our hips. The hips are looking to the side. What is important here when your hips are looking to the side, often the front knee also tends to collapse. So you're opening the front knee and the hips at the same time. This is what's really difficult about Warrior Two, is to keep both of them open. Hands are parallel to the ground, shoulders are relaxed, you're looking to the front hand. And then you need to inhale, shift the weight slightly to the front, and then come into your reverse warrior. And then exhale, front elbow to the knee. Reach your right arm over your head. Second time, inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale, down. And then now we're adding a little challenge. Going to inhale, back to Warrior Two. Extend the front leg. Turn the front foot outwards, so it's pointing to the back corner of your mat. Bring your arms in prayer position, and then we're going to bend and come into our side lunge. All the way down. Place one hand on also towards the edge of the mat, and then you're extending the other arm to the sky. Look towards your hand. And then you're pushing back into the back foot to come into your Warrior Two. Circle your arms to find your high lunge. So this one is really intensive on the back leg. Strength pure. Think to inhale, and then exhale. Come into your standing split. Sorry, I'm a bit too different. Yeah, to your standing split. And this time, you're going to bend the left leg, and you're going to grab the ankle with your right hand. You're going to push your ankle into the hand, try and open your chest. If this is too intensive, you don't have to grab it with your hand. You can also try to reach towards it with your hand. It doesn't have to hold it. And here you notice we're in an open position of the hips. Right? And then now you're going to let go of the ankle, come back into standing split. You're closing the hips. And then now I'd like to bend the left leg again, and then grab the ankle with your left hand. And then do the same thing, this time keeping your hips closed. And you're noticing it feels completely different. For me, it's a completely different part of my thigh that's being stretched. And it's really interesting because you keep stretching the same parts otherwise if you always do the same movement. Very nice. And then you can let go and come into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or jump into plank, and flow your Vinyasa to downward facing dog. And then doing the other side. So inhale, lift the left leg to the sky, keeping your hips squared. And then you're going to open the hips, bend the left leg, pushing through your hands, can try to find out what you like most right now. And what feels good is you're opening or closing the shoulders. And then on your exhale, you're going to step your foot between your hands. Inhale, come into warrior two. And exhale, deepen the warrior. Make sure again the knee is over. You're opening the hips. And then inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale, elbow to knee, and you reach up with your right arm. Inhale, reverse. And exhale, side angle. And then we're doing our difficult leg strength part. You need to inhale, warrior two. Extend the front leg, hands in prayer, opening the back foot. And then we're coming down in our side lunge. Right hand to the side, left hand to the sky, trying to open the chest. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Another deep breath in. And on the next breath out, you're pushing into the foot, back into your warrior two. Very nice. Breathe in. And then breathe out. We're circling the back hand to come into our high lunge. Come back on the toes of your back foot. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, hands to the mat, and we're coming into our standing split. Your hips are closed. Take a moment here. And then when you feel ready, you can open your hips, bend the right leg, and then try to grab the right ankle with your left hand. And then if you're grabbing it, you can push your foot into the hand to help you open the chest. Sometimes I like to first pull the heel to my glute to stretch the thigh, and then push the ankle into the hand to open the body. And then you can let go. Come back into your standing split. Here you can always have some blocks under the hands, by the way. It makes it easier. And then you need to bend again. And this time you're going to try to grab your ankle with your right hand. And then here again, if you want, you can pull the ankle to the glute. And then you can push the foot into the hand and open the whole front side of your body with your open shoulder. I feel that one in my front leg too. It's a beautiful stretch. And then exhale, let go of everything, and find your forward fold. And then you're going to bend your legs all the way down and come in a seated position on your glutes. We're done with the harder part. We're done with the hardest part. Or it depends, we still have a bit of core. And then we are going into the cool down. So I'm bringing our knees up, opening the chest, and the hands can either stay next to you, or if you want to challenge, you can lift the hands up, open your chest, try to look over your feet. You can also put your hands under the legs if it gets too intense. Take a deep breath in, and then on our exhale, we're going to go in a low boat, so we're going to extend the legs and lower down. Then inhale, come back up. Exhale down. Inhale up. And one last time. Exhale down. And we're staying here for 3 breaths. Try to really suck the belly in. Push the lower back into the mat. And 3, release everything. Allow your body to release any tension. Notice how alive and dead at the same time you feel. How you feel your body.